In a dark dugout on Ukraine's eastern front, drone pilots from the 23rd Mechanized Brigade prepare for a mission. Tonight they're dropping anti-tank mines and small bombs on Russian positions. This footage was shot near Chasiv Yar by American-Ukrainian journalist David Kirichenko. He spent several weeks on the front line alongside the men and women trying to slow the grinding advance of Vladimir Putin's military.
But we're sitting in the bunker and the soldiers are looking at me and they're just like, I don't understand why you would come here to sit here and this like deathly bunker just sit with us where, you know, you could die. And we're just like smiling at one another and they're just like, this is interesting. I was like, well, here we go. And then, yeah, like the mission began and the guys start grabbing the anti-tank mines and loading into the drone. But for them, they've been doing this for so many years and they're really good at what they do.
Chasiv Yar sits on high ground to the west of Bakhmut, a strategically important town for both sides. What was once home to 13,000 residents now looks like this, levelled by Russian airstrikes and artillery. The drone war here is intense, both sides finding new ways to inflict damage on the enemy. The Ukrainians using these liquid bombs to rain fire on the Russian lines.
The guys also were telling me that in recent weeks, the Russians started flying FPV drones and they just dropped them on the roads with a detonator. So you drive close enough and that FPV drone detonates. And so they've been mining the roads back. So both sides mine the roads. So whenever like heavy armor or even like drone units are trying to like retreat, or there's a good probability somebody's going to be driving over that mine.
David saw firsthand how these Ukrainian UAV pilots and the aircraft they operate are a particular prize for the Russians.
Like when your drone returns, not only can the enemy potentially see where it lands, or but they can literally have like a Mavic drone or other drones follow your drone back to the base and find out. Every drone unit that I was with was telling me like the main priority for both sides is to kill the drone pilots. And when I was with artillery units, they say the same thing. Like they want to kill the drone pilot because then they can render our operations more ineffective.
One of the drone pilots serving with this unit was 20-year-old Artem, call sign Joker. David met him at a Ukrainian base, but later learned he'd been killed in a Russian drone strike.
His commander told me that he was alone responsible for killing or injuring over 200 Russian soldiers. And the work that the drone pilots do is so important because it's not only are they, you know, killing the enemy, but they're protecting the infantry. So if they don't like stop these waves of Russian assaults, they're gonna like attack the Ukrainian trench lines and kill the infantry. And so like they hold the weight of like their fellow like soldiers in their hands, and so the pressure is enormous. A lot of the guys will be out there for 5-6 days with no break, just taking like cycling in and out. Some of the other guys taking like a 20-minute nap, maybe 2-hour nap, but then you get out there for another, could be like 14-15 hours of just straight bombing.
These drone units pool their own salaries to buy extra equipment, electronic warfare jammers and Starlink satellite terminals.
I think a lot of the soldiers along the front lines feel that they're just being given enough to both stay alive and just to be on the defensive the whole time, with no ability to be able to go and like conduct the types of offensives that they'd like to. But ultimately, I think the real morale boosters come when the U.S. and the West and countries like Germany will unlock the Taurus missiles and give Ukraine the long-range strike capabilities that they really need to hurt the Russians.
As well as drone pilots, David embedded with mortar teams, artillery units and armoured brigades along the Eastern Front. This month he'll publish a report for the Henry Jackson Society, a national security think tank, outlining the lessons he believes NATO has to learn from Ukraine, a war many of the men and women he spent time with may not survive. Simon Newton, BFPS Forces News. Thanks for watching. For more from BFPS Forces News, like and subscribe to our channel.